So good morning everyone. We are discussing unit 6 in the last class. So we have to discuss continuation further. So what we have started? We have started unit 6 network security, discussing about security in the network layer. As a part of that we have two topics in that, IP security and system security. We already discussed about IP security. What we have discussed in IP security? Internet protocol security, which is a standard protocol suite. It will provide authentication, integrity and confidentiality. So next we have discussed what are the features of IPsec. What are the features? Verifying whether the sender is genuine or not, verifying whether the content of message is modified or not, and confidentiality is nothing but believing that every message is encrypted. So here we are transferring message in the form of packets. So packet is nothing but a bundle of data. So what are the IPsec elements? Encapsulating security payload, authentication header, internet key exchange. Here internet key exchange is again into two types, key management and security association. So then we have discussed what is the overall scenario of IPsec. So overall scenario of IPsec is nothing but IP header and IP payload. So next we have seen what are the applications of IP security. Then we have seen what are the services. So what are the services of IPsec? So if you see here, what are the services of IPsec? Access control, connectionless integrity, data origin authentication, rejection of replayed packets, confidentiality, limited traffic flow confidentiality. So these are the services provided by cryptography in first unit, and same services are provided by IPsec also. So the next one, services. Authentication header is going to provide some services. Authentication header is going to provide some services. Encapsulation security payload will provide some services. By clubbing those two services, we are getting all the 6 services from IPsec. Next, benefits of IPsec. Then what is the architecture of IPsec? In architecture we have only encapsulating security payload, authentication header and internet key exchange. So then we have two different modes of transmission, transport mode and tunnel mode. In transport mode we will concentrate only on payload of IPsec. In tunnel mode we will concentrate both on IP header and IP payload. So next, authentication header structure we have seen. So 32 bits we will have from 0 to 31. It is divided into many parts. Nothing but next header, payload length, reserved bits, security parameter index, sequence number, authentication data. This authentication data is the part where we are going to concentrate on MAC address. MAC is nothing but message authentication code, which size is variable. So next, encapsulating security payload. So this also has the structure and it is also having divided into many parts, and the size of this encapsulating security payload is also 0 to 31 bits, nothing but 32 bits, and it is also divided into many parts like security parameter index, sequence number, payload data, padding, next header and authentication data. So here also there is a concept of MAC, message authentication code, and which is variable. So next, finally, key management. So we have discussed about key management, and for key management we have two different protocols like Oakley key determination protocol and internet security association and key management protocol. So then we have seen what are the features of Oakley. So while talking about asymmetric encryption, we will have Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. What are the advantages and disadvantages in Diffie-Hellman key exchange are overcome in OLE key distribution protocol. So next one, ISA-KMP, Internet Security Association and Key Management Protocol. It also has a structure of 32 bits, 0 to 31, and it is divided into many things. Important things in this protocol is cookies. The concept of cookies we can see here in Internet Security Association and Key Management. So we have two types of cookies, initiator cookie and responder cookie. Initiator cookie is for sender, responder cookie is for receiver. Apart from this, we have major version, minor version, next payload, exchange type, flags, message ID, length. So this structure we will call as ISA-KMP header. Same way, this structure is called as encapsulating security payload header, and this is authentication header structure. So likewise, we have a protocol for that header also. So this is what we have discussed for IP security. So in 6th unit we have two topics. First one is IPsec, second one is system security. So till here IPsec completed. So next one is system security. In under the topic of system security, we need to discuss what is a firewall, what is a malicious software, what are the intruders. So in the last class we have finished discussing what is a malicious software. So see, malicious software is divided into two types, which needs a host program, which is independent of host program. Again they are further divided into trapdoors, logic bombs, Trojan horses, virus, worms and zombies. Zombies are very similar to worms but will cause more damage. Zombies are more similar to worms but zombie will cause more damage. So now in this, worms and viruses are much important, and if you see here one more point, replication. See, replication is nothing but multiplying. So viruses, worms and zombies will replicate, will multiply themselves. So malicious program is nothing but a software which is inserted into your machine to do harmfulness to you. So malicious program is a software that is inserted into your computer to cause a harm. So that malicious softwares can be two types, dependent and independent. So virus will come under dependent category, worms and zombies will come under independent category. But the thing is replication. So both viruses and worms will replicate. Replication is nothing but they are multiplying themselves to cause harm. So we have seen what is a virus and what is a worm definition. Then we have seen what is a logic bomb, Trojan horse, trapdoor, virus, and we have the phases of virus like dormant phase, propagation phase, triggering phase and execution phase. Then we have seen what are the types of viruses: parasite virus, memory resident virus, boot sector virus, stealth virus, metamorphic and polymorphic viruses. Then finally what is the virus structure in the form of a code. Then what are the countermeasures if you want to take for virus? Nothing but antivirus. So antivirus evolution. Then what is digital immune system? So how in a network if virus is attacked or in a network any malicious software is attacked, so how you are going to provide immune, that we have seen in the form of a diagram. So this is digital immune system in a network, in a private network or in a public network where server will be there, client will be there. How if virus attacked, how we are going to stop that, we have in the form of a diagram. So next one is worms. So worm is independent on program but it also has the phases like dormant, propagation, triggering and execution. So we have seen what is the propagation of worm, means what is the slow start phase, fast spread phase and slow finish phase. Next, what are the recent worm attacks, how a worm can be attacked on mobile phone, what do you mean by Morris worm, who is Morris, and then worm technology. So what a worm can do. So if you see here, worm technology is nothing but what a worm can do. Multi-platform, nothing but worm can propagate in Unix and Windows also. If your operating system is Windows, then also worms can be attacked. If your operating system is Unix or Linux, then also worm can be attacked. So worm is multi-platform, platform independent. Multi-exploit means it will cause many damages at single time. Ultra-fast spreading. So once it attacked your machine, it will replicate very fast. Polymorphic, worm has many forms. Metamorphic means, see how you can tell the metamorphic, the behavior will not, worm behavior will not change and silently it will do whatever it wants. Transport vehicles, worm does not require any medium to transfer. Zero day exploit means in the single day or within the fraction of seconds worm attacked, it can collapse your mission. So this is worm technology. So next, introduction for firewalls. So this also we have seen in last class. So now we will see what are the firewalls and what are the intrusion detection systems, what is intruders, who are intruders, what is intrusion detection system, how you can detect the intrusion and what is a firewall. If you see these topics, we can finish our unit 6. So first one, firewall. So we have already seen what is a firewall. So the firewall will be between protected internal network and untrusted external network. So untrusted external network. So this untrusted external network can be internet also. So trusted protected internal network. Trusted protected internal network. So between these two, firewall stands as a bridge. So firewall is nothing but when you are browsing something from Google, or you are downloading anything, or you are using any websites, so you can get virus through that. So firewall will stand. Sometimes antivirus also may not work. If you have problem with the virus, then you have the solution with antivirus. But there is a chance we can be attacked with Trojan horse, logic bombs, trapdoors, and worms also. So antivirus may not always be good for all the worms and all. So for that purpose we are having firewall. See, in many organizations some websites will not open like YouTube and Facebook because they will restrict the usage of some websites. They can do that using firewall. So firewall will act as a bridge between external untrusted network and internal trusted protected network. For example, in some organizations we cannot use Facebooks, YouTubes and all. So what they will do, they will restrict the access of some particular sites with the help of firewall to stop the damage. So this is the firewall. So it is a choke point which will act between trustedness and untrustedness. So firewall also have the limitations, as you can see. See, virus you can stop with antivirus. If there is a damage, you can prevent, detect, or you can remove if possible, identify and remove if possible. So what are the limitations we have for firewall is, if there is anything which firewall cannot resist, or there is anything which bypasses through firewall, then firewall cannot protect you from that. So firewall cannot protect you from that. And one more thing, if there is a threat from internal people, so outside attack you can stop using firewall, but if there is any threat using internal people, or there are any internal threats, then also firewall cannot help you. Then if you are accessing through WLAN, wide local area network, so then also firewall cannot help you anything. See, we can call group of LANs we can call wide area network, but in some places this wide area network will be as wide local area network. In that cases firewall cannot help you. And if you want to protect your laptop from malware, see, malicious program is also called as malware. The other name for malicious program is malware. So malicious software, malicious program, malware, all these are same. So other name for malicious program is malware. So if you are using your laptop, then it cannot protect against malware through laptop. So it can, if you are accessing WLAN, wide local area network, firewall cannot do anything. If you are internal employees, or if your internal threats you have, firewall cannot do anything. And it cannot protect attacks bypassing it. So in any organizations or in any institutions, we have the concept of firewall. But if there is any chance for internal threat, then firewall cannot help. And if you are in wide local area network, then firewall cannot help. And ultimately, if you are accessing some malware through your laptops, firewall cannot help. And finally, if there is anything attack that can bypass the firewall, then also firewall cannot do anything. So these are the limitations on firewalls. So next one is types of firewalls. So if you see here, we will have 3 types of firewalls. 3 different types of firewalls we have. So 3 different types of firewalls we have. In that first one, packet filtering router. So 3 different types of firewalls we have, and firewall is nothing but which act as a bridge between your network and internet. So if you see here, we have the private network here, we have the internet here. So this internet is untrusted, external. So this private network is trusted, protected, internal. So as I always said you, firewall can be anything. Now here we are using the firewall in the form of router. What this router will do? This router is doing packet filtering. So as I am telling you from the beginning, from one network to another network, data is being transferred. Data is transferred in the form of packets. Packet is nothing but a bundle or chunk of data. Now when we are transferring data from one network to another network in the form of packets, this internet will be termed as untrusted external, and your private network will be termed as trusted protected internal. Between these two I am having a router. What is the work of this router? Packet filtering. Means we should reduce the redundancy, we should eliminate the duplication, and we should not overflow the private network. All these things are done by packet filtering router. So in types of firewalls, first type is packet filtering router. So if you see here, from one network to the other network, we are transferring data in the form of packets. So all this is happening, maybe all this can happen in transport layer, or all this can happen in network layer also. So while we are transferring data from one network to another network in the form of packets, so we are using packet filtering router. The main use of this packet filtering router is to eliminate the duplicate packets, to reduce the redundancy, and to not cause overflow of private network. So this is the first type of firewall. So next one, second one, application level gateway. What is the second type of firewall? Second type of firewall is application level gateway. So what is happening here? Same. Here the communication is happening in the application layer. So you know computer network subject, you know OSI model, you know layers also. So application layer, session layer, presentation layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, physical layer. So before, in first type of firewall, we have seen the data transfer in transport layer or network layer. Now we are talking about transfer of data between two networks using application layer. So what are the protocols we will have in application layer? File transfer protocol FTP, hypertext transfer protocol HTTP, SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol SMTP. Like these protocols we will have in application layer. So we know what is a computer network, we know what is a OSI model, we know we have 8 different layers also, and each layer has its own properties and importance. Same way, now we are discussing about types of firewalls. So we have 3 different types of firewalls. In that, first one is packet filtering router. So there the transmission of data in the form of packets is happened in transport layer or network layer. Here second type of firewall is application level gateway. So here we have in the 8 layers, the topmost layer is application layer. Now the communication is happening between two networks through application layer. So you can see here host, outside host and inside host. Maybe this outside host is in network A and maybe a sender, and this inside host may be receiver and maybe in network B. We can assume there are 2 different networks, network A and network B, and we can also assume we have 2 hosts, outside host and inside host. One may be sender and one may be receiver. These both are in communication in application layer. Now what is the second firewall? We have application level gateway. So firewall will also act as a entry point, nothing but gateway. So as I already told you, what protocols will be in application layer: file transfer protocol, hypertext transfer protocol, simple mail transfer protocol, and telnet. Telnet is for remote access. So what for telnet? Remote access. We have already discussed many times about telnet protocol. FTP is used for file transfer. SMTP is used for mail transfer. So why telnet is used? Telnet is used to access the remote computer. If I am in one place and all my files are located at some other place in some other system. Without moving to that system, if I want to access the files in that system using telnet command, I will connect to that system and I will download my files. So telnet is the command. Telnet is the command used for remote access. Remote access is nothing but connection between two computers. So we can assume there is a network A and network B, and we can also assume there are host missions in both the networks, and if these two computers want to communicate, then they will use the telnet command. So in second type of firewall, that is application level gateway, we are talking about application layer where all the application layer protocols are discussed, and here we have systems. Ultimately that systems are called as host, and nodes also we can call these systems as nodes also, because all these hosts and nodes are located in a network. Now if I want to take remote access, I am using this application level gateway firewall, so that I can connect the outside host and inside host, which are in two different networks, by the telnet using remote access. So this is second type of firewall. So what is the third type of firewall? Circuit level gateway. So in first firewall we have seen communication in network layer. So first firewall is packet filtering router. Their communication happened in network layer. Second one is first router is packet filtering router. Here communication happened in network layer. So second one is application level gateway. Here communication happened in application layer. So the third one is circuit level gateway. Here the communication will happen in transport layer. Transport layer. So if you see here, this is the gateway circuit diagram. So we have the outside host, we have the inside host. These both are nothing but nodes, nothing but systems. So what they are doing, here we have in circuit diagram we have in objects. These in objects are sent by inside host, and we are sending that objects to outside host in the form of out objects. So if you see here, this is the circuit level gateway diagram. So internal transport connection, external transport connection. Why we are calling transport connection? Because the communication is happening in transport layer. So the communication is happening in transport layer. So we are calling it as internal transport connection and external transport connection. So third firewall is circuit level gateway. In this circuit level gateway also, this firewall will act as a gateway. Firewall can be a choke point. Firewall can be a choke point. Firewall can be a entry point. Firewall can be router. Firewall can be gateway also. So if we call choke point also, that is firewall only. If we call router, entry point, gateway, all these are firewalls only. So third type of firewall is circuit level gateway, where all the systems are treated as nodes, and we have the inside host and outside host. Maybe in a network, what are the nodes we have, that will be called as inside nodes, and out of the network, if you want to communicate with any system, that is outside host. I am in network A. So all the systems, all the computers in network A will be inside host. I want to communicate with network B or network C. So all the outside systems are called as outside host or outside nodes. So here the communication is happening in transport layer. So we are calling it as internal transport connection and external transport connection. So we are using a gateway to to stop the harm for internal and outside host also. So this is the types of firewalls. First one is packet filtering router, which will act as a packet filter between private network and internet. See here, end-to-end transport connection is happened. Means two systems are connected end-to-end each other. Second one, application level gateway. Talking about application layer, here all the protocols in the application layer are used. Especially telnet is used for remote access. Third one is circuit level gateway, where the gateway is nothing but a firewall. So it is a third type of firewall where the communication happened in transport layer. So we are calling it as internal transport connection and external transport connection. Finally, distributed firewalls. So if you see here, see we have the external firewall, internal firewall, LAN switch, internet, router, Remote users means outside users, network, email server, web server, DNS server, domain name system server, applications and databases. So in a network, what all we have? First we have the internet from where we are going to access. Then routers we have. So from internet, outside of the network, people will use directly from the internet. So inside the network, people they will have external firewall and internal firewall. Through LAN and switches they will get information. So what will happen in a network? What will happen in a protected network? All the computers are termed as workstations. In distributed firewalls, all the systems, all the computers are named as workstations. So we got a new point here. From now onwards, while we are talking about firewalls and while we are talking about distributed firewalls, we should call all the computers as workstations. So we can have internal firewalls in our organizations. We can have external firewalls which websites are created. So ultimately we want to get some information from internet. So I want to open Instagram. So opening Instagram is from internet application. So Instagram people can have some restrictions, which is external firewall. My organization can have some restrictions, internal firewall. Through LAN, I will be in internal protected network and I will be accessing this Instagram through LAN. So in internal protected network, what I will be called as? I will be called as workstation. So I will have databases, I will have servers, I will have web servers, all these things. So this is distributed firewalls. In distributed firewalls, we are accessing every information from internet. So accessing internet is one task. Now we are in a protected network. Some other people from outside also can access the internet. People who are accessing the internet from outside will be outside host. This outside host is also called as remote user. People who are accessing internet from outside of the network. People who are accessing internet from outside of your network is called as outside host. That people can be called as remote users also. Now you are in internal protected network. In your network, your system is called as workstation. So you will have database and you will have servers also. You will be connected to internet by internal firewall and LAN. And from the internet side, we can have external firewall also. So all this structure is called as distributed firewall. It is highly secure. Distributed firewall is highly secure because we have external firewall, we have internal firewall, LAN, workstations and everything. So DNS server is nothing but domain name server. If you have the extension .com, .in, www, all these extensions are stored in DNS server, domain name system server. So DNS means domain name system. So domain names, all the .coms, .ins, .acs, all the domain names are stored in domain name server. So people who are accessing the internet other than your network will be remote users. If you want to connect to this remote user, you should use telnet. So you are in internal protected network. From internal protected network, this is your system called as workstation. From this workstation, if you want to connect to remote user, you should use telnet command. So distributed firewalls, which is highly secure because we have external firewall and internal firewall also. Here we will be called as workstations. If you are in a network and your system is workstation, and if you want to connect with the people other than your network, you should use telnet command. People other than your network will be called as remote users. Domain name system server is nothing but we all will be connected using switches and LAN cables. So in domain name all the extensions will be stored. So internal firewall is created by our network. From outside networks or from internet also we can have some restrictions or gateways, that is called as external firewall. So this is distributed firewall. Next one, virtual private networks. Means we already know what is virtualization. We are imagining some systems, and imagination of some systems and working on them is nothing but virtualization. Now this IP security firewalls, these concepts are seen on virtual private networks. So what we have here, As I already told you, IP is divided into IP header, IP payload. So when we are discussing about IP overview and IP architecture, this IP is divided into IP header and IP payload. So user system with internet protocol security, where the internet protocol security is divided into IP header and IP payload. This is the private network or public network, internet. From here also we will have IP header and IP payload. So we have the firewalls. First this IP header and IP payload is given to firewall. Then firewall will give to switch or router. From there you will get to nodes or workstations. So this is the thing. This is one network, network A. And this is one more network, network B. Somebody named as user with IP internet protocol security suite. Some user has posted IP header and payload into the internet, and from the internet network A and network B are getting. So how they will get? From the internet also they will get IP payload and IP header. Firewall, through firewall that IP header and IP payload is getting to workstation. Workstation is nothing but computer. Here the system you can see, this system is called as node, host or workstation. So this is virtual private network. User have the IP security that is divided into IP header and IP payload, and somebody posted that on internet. So from internet, network B and network A want to access that IP header and IP payload. Nothing but message in the form of packet. So through firewalls, network A also has the firewall, network B also has the firewall. Through firewalls, that packet of data is received to workstations. So this is virtual private networks. So the next one, firewall configurations. So firewall configurations, we have three types of firewall configurations. First one, screened subnet firewall, screened host firewall, screened host firewall with dual home base station. So from you have learnt a new word before, that computer is called as node or workstation. Now network can also be called as base station. So what are the two new words? System, computer is called as workstation. Network, group of nodes is called as base station. So these are the two new words we learnt in the firewalls. So now firewall configurations is nothing but into how many types you can set up the firewalls. So into three types we can set the firewalls. First one is screened subnet, screened host firewall with single home base station, screened host firewall with dual home base station. So the first one, screened subnet. So from the internet, using the router, using modem for net. You can use Wi-Fi or mobile data. For the purpose of net, here they have used modem. So from the internet, passing to the outside router and passing through the databases and using modems and using inside routers in a base station, finally we are getting into private network. So we have a base station, outside router and inside router. We are using modem for net connection. We have database also. Information server is nothing but database. Information server is nothing but database. So what is happening in first type? Screened subnet firewall. So we are not talking about anything, we are not talking about any types of firewalls. Just simply we have one mission or one network which is base station. From the internet you need to get data to your private network. So from the internet you need to get the data, nothing but packet. So from the internet you need to get data in the form of packet to private network. You are the node in this private network. So we are using inside router, outside router, information server, nothing but database. Using all these things we are getting packet of data into private net. So second one is screened host firewall system with single home base station. So here also we have database, we have base station, and packet filtering router is type 1 firewall. Type 1 firewall. So packet filtering router is type 1 firewall. So we are using type 1 firewall here in firewall configuration. So as usual, from the internet we want to get data into our database, nothing but information server. From there we want to get it to base station host. But here we are not using any modems and we are using only one single router, that is packet filtering router. From the internet, when we are getting packets, there itself we are filtering and giving to database. So in screened host firewall system, from the internet only, while we are giving to database, we are using packet filter router. Here only packets are filtered and passed to private networks. You can see here in private networks also you have nodes, workstations. So what is the difference between these two, subnet and hosted firewall? In the subnet we are using many routers, modems, and we are taking data from internet. In screened host firewall single home base station, just we are using one router, that is packet filtering router. From the internet itself, when we are getting data into base station or database, we are using packet filtering. Then we are transferring the same information to all the nodes in the base station. And finally, third one, screened host firewall with dual home base station. Here also from internet we are getting data. We are using packet filtering router. Whenever we are getting data in the form of packet from internet, this packet filtering router type 1 firewall will eliminate duplications, will decrease redundancy. Same way it will pass the information to the database. From database, that information is given to all the workstations in the base station. So all the workstations are computers, base station is a network, computers in that base station are called as private host. Private host. So computers in that base station are called as private host. So simple, in screened host firewall single home and screened host firewall dual home, we are just using packet filtering router. From the internet, whenever we are transferring the data or posting the data into internet, this packet filtering router will eliminate duplications and redundancy. Similarly, that information is stored in database also called as information server. From this database to all the private host is nothing but computers in that base station, it is transferred. So and the third type is screening subnet. In screening subnet we have many routers to do screening and we have database, we are using modem for net, and finally through internet we are getting data in the form of packets to private network. So here private network is a single point, but in next two types private network is nothing but private host, multiple private host. So this is firewall configuration. Firewall configuration is of three types: screened subnet firewall, screened host firewall with single home, screened host firewall with dual home. In single home and dual home we are using packet filter routing for elimination, duplication, and we are passing the packets to private host. Private hosts are nothing but workstations, computers. So in subnet we are using different routers and modems for the purpose of net connection, and information server is nothing but database. So from the internet using this database we are giving packet of information to private network. So these are the firewall configurations. So next one, trusted systems. So till now we have discussed what is a firewall, what is the structure of firewall, types of firewalls, limitations of firewalls. Next one is trusted systems. See here, information related to military people or information related to political people or any hospital information, confidential and secret informations are stored using trusted computer systems. So why trusted computer systems are used? Any military information, confidential information or sensitive information, information related to country or secret information or secret programs are stored using trusted computers. See, information is increasing day by day and it is important. Information will differ based on sensitivity. like military information and confidential and secret. Here we will have the two words. Here we will have two words like subjects, objects. So if you see here, subject is people or program, whereas object is information. So we should provide security. We can have levels of security also, and to provide high security we are using trusted systems. So now we know what is a malicious software, we know what is a firewall, and we also know that firewall has the limitations. So next one is trusted systems. Why people went into trusted systems? Because information is increasing day by day, and information is important, and information have the different levels based on the sensitivity. For example, if you take military information or any information related to country, it is confidential and secret. So while talking about trusted computer systems, we have two words. One is subject. Subject is nothing but people and programs. Other one is object. Object is nothing but information. So this is the trusted computers. See what will happen in trusted computer systems. See, we have process 1 and process 2 and so on, process n. So all these processes have read permission, execute permission, read permission, write permission and read permission. So for program 1, we have read and execute permissions. So in segment A, we have read and write permissions. In segment B, we have only read permission. So this is the access matrix. We can give read, write, execute permissions, read, write, execute. So what are the three permissions we can give for the subject? Subject means people, object means information. So now what are the three permissions we can give for subject? Means three permissions we can give for people, read, write, execute permissions we can give. So we have process or we have programs, and segment wise we are giving read, write and execute permissions, and we are constructing a access matrix based on that and access control list. This access matrix and access control list called as access control structure. So first one is access matrix, second one is access control list. Togetherly this access matrix and access control list is called as access control structure. How this matrix is designed? See, for program 1 I am giving access. So process 1, in program 1, process 1 have read and execute permission in. So if you see here, first row 1, row 2, row 3. In this matrix we have 3 rows. First one is process 1, second one is segment A and segment B. So program 1, process 1, segment A and segment B. Segment A has read and write permissions. So segment A has read and write permissions. Segment B has only read permission. So segment B has only read permission. So we are constructing access matrix. We are constructing access control list. By combining access matrix and access control list together, we are calling as access control structure. So we have programs, we have processes. In program 1, for process 1, we have read and execute permission. In segment A, we have read and write permissions. In segment B, we have only read permission. So how I am constructing a matrix? Program 1, process 1, read and execute. Segment A, process 1, read and write. Segment B, process 2, read. This is the matrix. Next one, program 1 has read and execute in segment A and read in segment B. This is how. So trusted computers came into picture to give high security. Trusted computers. So this is the trusted computers. They came into picture to give high security, and we have to classify the data based on sensitiveness and importance. For high sensitive data, we have to give high security. So for that purpose, I am constructing access control structure. Access control structure. How we can construct? Using access matrix and access control list. From where we got that? we have to create a matrix based on process, programs and the permissions given. So we can give read, write and execute permissions. So as per the table, for program 1 in process 1 we have read and execute permission. So in segment A we have read and write permission for process 1. In segment B we have process 2 read. So this is process 2. We have read permission for process 2 in segment B. This is process 1. For this we have read and write permission in segment A. That's what I have given in the list also. For program 1 in segment A we have read and write. For process 2 we have read. So this is access control structure. So finally, what is a reference monitor? So we have discussed about trusted systems. In trusted systems we have objects. Object is nothing but information. So if you see here, subject is people. Subject is people or program. Object is information. So trusted systems, two concepts is subject and object. Subject means people or program, object means information. So next, how we can construct a matrix and access structure. And finally, what is reference model? So we have subjects. Subjects are nothing but people or programs. We have objects. Objects are nothing but information. So reference monitor is a part of trusted systems. Reference monitor is one of the trusted system. So as I told you before, subject is people or programs, object is information. So what will this reference monitor do? People or programs are stored into reference monitor and they will get the information nothing but objects. So there is a audit file on which audit is performed on this information. So if you see, we have a database here. Name of the database is security kernel database. Here security clearance is done with subject. Subject means people. So people will do security clearance. Object means information. On information we are doing security classification. So we have a database here. Name of the database is security kernel database. What is the name of database? Security kernel database. So what is the name of database? Security kernel database. What this database have? It has about subject, nothing but people. It has about object, nothing but information. So what object will do? Security classification. So on the information we are doing security classification. So what is subject? People. What we are doing on people? Security clearance. So subject means people or programs. We should have security clearance in that. Object means information. We should have security classification on that. All these things are happening in reference monitor. Here we have the database called security kernel database, where we have the complete information about people and information also. And finally, audit file is the final file. Audit means you are making checking. You have to check whether these people are genuine or not. You have to check whether this information is encrypted or not. You have to check all these people and programs are authorized, authenticated people or not. You have to check whether all the data is segregated and structured or not. So this is the reference model. Reference model is one of the trusted system. So let us see trusted systems where data is high sensitive data is given high importance and high security. So we are constructing access control structure, access matrix. So finally reference model. So reference model is nothing but all the people are terminated as subjects, all the information is terminated as objects. So we will have a database where we should have security clearance on programs and people, and we should have security classification on information, and finally by taking all these things an audit is done. Audit file is also a database, and audit file is nothing but you should check sender is genuine, sender is authenticated, sender is authorized. You should check data is classified, data is segregated, data is organized. So this is the trusted systems. In next class we will see what is intrusion and intruders. So reference monitor is one of the trusted system. In the next class we will see what are the intruders and intrusions.